There we go. Awesome. So good morning, everybody. We're very excited. This is our first Start Smart meeting of the year. Just trying to start off the year strong. We've got lots of projects and lots of things to cover today. My name is Nina Ramos, and here we go. I'm sitting down today, so I'm not in front of everybody. My name is Nina Ramos. I am the Assistant Home Visiting Program Director for Community Action Inc. of Central Texas. I help, for those of you who are new to these calls, I help to really facilitate these coalition meetings and a lot of the initiatives that we have that go on during the year. And then I also want to introduce my colleague, Megan Campbell, who is in this work with me, and I'll go ahead and let her introduce herself. She's virtual today.
Good morning, everyone. I am not feeling well, so I spared everyone my in-person presence this morning. But it's great to see everyone and some new faces. Nina, I was just going to suggest, I wonder if you want to just maybe even try to turn off the video. That might help a little with the signal because the audio is coming in, but it's a little choppy and like kind of underwatery sounding on my end. We can hear you, but no video might help, just as a thought.
And we're trying new stuff here, so it's sort of like some of you guys can see us, some of y'all can't. We're all over the place. Let's see here. If we can, nope, that's not gonna work. All right, but you guys can't see them, but you can hear everybody okay. And please, for those of you who are joining us virtually, if you can go ahead and put your name and the place that you work at in the chat for us, and that way we can just keep track of who is attending, and we would really appreciate that. All right, so we're just going to go ahead and get started. So today we're going to start with an icebreaker. As always, I like to kind of get to know what's going on in y'all's worlds and sort of the things that you guys and a little tumultuous feeling. And so I wanted to just create some space for us and share some of the things that we are anticipating. So, you know, thinking about your work that you are doing in the community, that the work that you guys are doing with partners, you know, and sort of what are some of the things that are currently making your work more difficult, or some of the things that you're anticipating that might be coming up here over the next year that might be a roadblock to the work that you're doing in your communities. And I'll go ahead and sort of break the ice on that and get started. You know, I know that last week with the, I guess it was the week before last, all the days seem to be running together. You know, with the news of the federal funding freezes, right, we had quite a scare. We're currently working on an RFA for the parents as teachers and the coalition program to really expand services and be able to do more work in our community. And it, you know, was very nerve-wracking for us. And so, you know, we got that RFA in, you know, we're optimistic and still looking towards the future. And always trying to think of other creative solutions that we can continue to do our work, even if some of these other pieces of it fall short. So I know that that was something, you know, we're looking forward to hearing back about this RFA, and also just sort of wondering how the current, you know, climate and changes might affect that. So if anybody else has anything on your minds of things that have been coming up in your work, or that you are, you know, anticipating might be a roadblock, now I would love to see if you're comfortable sharing.
Yeah, okay. Hi, I'm Rhoda Taylor, Workforce Solutions for the capital area. I am not looking at it as a roadblock, but as a hurdle lifter. There's an advocacy training that's happening in Austin that I signed up for. So I'm looking forward to that because we need to know about our legislation and what we should advocate for. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I love that. What kind of advocacy training is that?
It is just a basic fundamental advocacy training. It is downtown. Don't quote me on the date. And I can send it to you. It's coming up soon. I believe it's Friday, this Friday.
Yeah,
So I can absolutely share it one time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
absolutely. Can you guys online hear her? To hear her okay? Okay, awesome. Yeah, so, thank you for sharing that, right? That is a creative solution, is trying to educate ourselves and find some of the information and the tools that we can use to advocate for our programs and our clients. Is there anything else that is coming up for you guys?
I can share, that's good, okay.
Yeah.
I am Marcia Maroney, I work at Texas State University with the Translational Health Research Center. A few of the things that we work on are grants, so, it is a concern for us that if we don't know about grant funding based off of words we can and cannot say and use and cannot use. And so, luckily, we're working with mental health. And I'll make that announcement later on the announcement portion now, because I know we need that more than ever. But we just don't know when the funding might, end for that, or if we'll get more grants, circulating around that, or even other health and wellness. We also, with the grant, have something called an ECHO, it's a virtual learning network series, and it's called Mental Health Collaborative, Community Collaborative. We have a speaker next Tuesday, Pastor Todd, if anyone has heard of him, he's going to talk about a response to mental health in the Black communities. We've had to since change the title of that because we can't say identities, I guess, apparently anymore. And so, just having to talk to him about like, hey, be mindful of when we're talking about fill in the blank, and yes, we could say inclusion, but can we say inclusion, and what does that look like? And we're hoping to hear from Contigo Wellness the following month, and the same conversation is going to have to happen, because even though it's a federal grant, we're a state school. So those are our roadblocks that we're having right now, major.
Yeah, no, and for those of you who were having trouble hearing, Marcia Burney from Texas State Transactional Research Center was sharing that they have been working on some mental health initiatives, and aside from the grant part, that they are concerned with the identification part. They were focused on Black mental health, and now sort of needing to change those things. They said it's echoing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how to fix that part. Let me see about. Okay, let's do this. Let's try. Okay. Setting, and you guys let me know if the echoing, is that better? Okay, perfect. Yeah, it was, strangely enough, there was a setting for echo canceling. And it was doing the opposite. Thank you for sharing that. And I think that I'm so glad that you spoke to that identification piece, because that's something that we also, while we were writing our RFA, right, we're sort of like, how much do we change when we are sort of making our promises and our efforts, putting our efforts out there about how we want to be equitable, and how we are, how we are sort of seeing that in our intention, what our actions are for that, and so still trying to get across the work being done without using some of these words, right, that are all of a sudden sort of not allowed. Thank you, Marcia. So that's a lot. Is there anything else that is going on for you folks in our virtual meeting that you guys would like to share, that have been coming up for you guys in your work, or that you anticipate being a challenge?
Hi, good morning. This is Anada Martinez with Dell Children's Health Plan, and it really is just, I'm sure, echoing across all of our agencies, but mostly what we're already seeing, the effects of not renewing Medicaid cases, not having health insurance. So it's going to have a long ripple effect and a longer way to recover, if we're ever able to recover from this, because of the families that we do serve. Particularly the parents who don't have immigration status. So it is also a plea for help right now from all entities, school districts, including, and then even from us is, we're here with you and we'll go through it with you all to make you understand, et cetera, et cetera. And it's just unfortunate how quick the fear just spread. And so and here we are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
definitely.
thank you, Zenaida, for mentioning that and saying that word fear, right? And I was just looking at this community trust gap here. And I know that so many of us already have a lot of clients who don't trust agencies and already sort of struggle with asking for help, and how this sort of, this fear of being identified really fuels that. And I'm curious too, hearing some of these things, right? Issues around, identifying populations, marginalized populations specifically, doing work to make sure that we're being inclusive and reaching out to underserved communities, issues with funding and, community trust, like you said, we have to think forward and try to imagine, like, what are these creative solutions, right? And I'm wondering if anybody has anything that they would like to share when they think about these issues and sort of what we hope that we would be able to do, right? If some of these other supports kind of fall out from under us. What are those creative solutions? How do we continue to do our work, or at least keep people safe in this uncertainty? Does anyone have any thoughts on that or hopes?
Something that happened, like, we're such a resilient community, and not just like community as in San Marcos, but just as people, and what we do. It was pretty amazing because I had a recruitment set up for this weekend, and we had already submitted what we were needing for this recruitment event. And I think this is where coalitions like this come into play, because sometimes there's an organization that has excess of resources that we're needing, and then other organizations that have others, and we connect one another, we help each other out. So if something this was to happen, there's so many other organizations in the community that we can reach out to, that we can talk to, that we can communicate. And so I just happened to mention, we're not gonna have somebody at another organization, and they said, hey, we have tons of things that we can give you. Here you go. One of them is that lolly. They gave us like 200 of these lollipops. It's pretty impressive. And truly our table was the best. We recruited stuff that we couldn't purchase, but somebody else. And I think that is why this coalition meeting is set up this way, because we can help one another, and talk about what's happening in the communities as well. I also noticed that as recruiting, we were losing people this past week, and I said, let me call these people directly, because there are Spanish speakers. What's happening here?
Yeah.
And of course, all of them were like, well, we know that organizations are coming down hard, and so we are scared to share with the people coming into our homes because they're brand new to the program. So I think that too is just being going that extra step with people that are scared and feared right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And that I think, coalitions like this or just other networks, right? And knowing that so much of this work that we're doing here is really building relationships, and for this purpose, right? Because when our agencies or our programs are looking for other creative solutions, who can we reach out to, who might have some resources or just some ideas, right? So yes, thank you. Any other thoughts on creative solutions or hopes to help us get over some of these roadblocks or just to meet them?
One of my friends reminded me, she's at counseling.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing she said to me when I was like, what do we do? She said, Marcia, take care of yourself. So just a reminder that we have got to make sure that we are taking care of ourselves and building ourselves.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that our company is to give everything that it doesn't have. So self-care is on commute, lifeline commute and safe places, safe environment, because out there doesn't really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you said that, because self-care is not only just necessary in this work, but it's ethical. It's an ethical way of doing this work, because when we're not taking care of ourselves, when we're not also ensuring our own safety and dignity, it's really difficult for us to meet the needs of others. So yeah. One thing that I was going to add too, just in creative solutions, and it's a weird conversation to have, right? Is just thinking about dollars, money, right? That's sort of this big concern that I think runs through for everybody. And in the same way that we look to each other, like Lucy was saying, to come up with different solutions or spaces or resources, what does it look like now to start looking for different types of funding? You know, who are the folks that have these resources, and, you know, what does it look like to try to navigate that? And I know for a lot of us in these services, it's something that we don't necessarily do, because we have, you know, had a strong relationship and support from state or, you know, federal governments, and hopefully that will maintain. But I think of that, you know, as sort of like, well, who else, what else, right, might be able to happen in the future to sort of meet these needs. Yeah, and you know that I know this is a lot of information. It's a really big conversation for an icebreaker. So I appreciate y'all kind of going on this journey with me, but I wanted to definitely make space because it's very present in everyone's mind. Before we move on, I just want to, you know, check and see if there's anything else that anybody wants to share, ideas or concerns that you guys might have coming up for this 2025. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for taking that journey with me. And, you know, this is a conversation that we will continue to have as we move forward in our work. So today, unfortunately, we were going to have Tamela Richardson from Start Early Consulting introduce herself to us as a coalition. So I'll just kind of give her a little plug here. Unfortunately, she had the flu today, so she was not able to attend. So she will be attending a future meeting. So the coalition, so Megan and I have started working with Start Early to get consulting on how to really build up this coalition in a very meaningful and intentional way. And specifically looking forward to how we will be completing our new strategic plan and all that good stuff. So she will definitely be here to introduce herself at another time. And she might even be reaching out to a few people. Part of the work that Start Early is doing with us is that they're going to be doing focus groups for people who are engaged in the coalition, people who are not so engaged in the coalition, with medical providers, with childcare providers in the area, to try to get a sense of what it is that people are looking for in this coalition, so that we can really strengthen it and provide something that's going to be useful to everyone. So really missing Tamela today, but she will join us next time. So our next speaker is, because we had two speakers today, so actually I've kind of worked out, so we had more time to talk about roadblocks. But I'm going to introduce, and I will stop sharing my screen, Liz, so that you can share Liz McCormick with United Way for Greater Austin. She's one of an amazing colleague of ours that we're working on Help Me Grow initiatives with, and I'm going to stop sharing. And Liz, if you want to go ahead and share, and then that way you guys can too.
Oh, I think you have to enable sharing, Nina.
Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, thanks.
You know, you think you're going to make everything goes. I think I made you a co-host.
Yes, I have sharing abilities now. Okay. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, sweet. Hi, everybody. I'm Liz McCormick. As Nina said, I work for United Way for Greater Austin. I am the Help Me Grow Senior Manager there. And so, like Nina said, I work very closely with Nina and Megan both to help strengthen our early childhood ecosystem. And so I'm going to share a little bit of information, give a quick overview of Help Me Grow. I know some of you may have heard information. I know Nina has said that y'all have talked about Help Me Grow a couple of times. So I think you have a basic familiarity, but I'll go over a little bit. And then I'm going to focus on one of the components today to share some information with you and kind of we're moving some work forward, and in the next few months we might need we'd like to include more organizations into the work, and so I'd just like to share some information and give you some things to think about, and we can always talk one-on-one later as well if you have more questions. So as I get started, I just wanted to do a quick review of what Help Me Grow is. So Help Me Grow is a national model. It is a system model. It is not a specific program or service that is offered. And it has the goal to use and build on existing resources that already exist in the community in order to develop and enhance a comprehensive approach to early childhood system building. So we're working on connecting service providers to each other, as well as trying to make access to resources a little bit easier for parents, as well as strengthening referral pathways between providers as well as families to providers, or even healthcare providers to other community resources. And so I, myself, and Nina and Megan, and a few of our colleagues, we are part of Help Me Grow Central Texas. And so we are an affiliate in Texas to the larger model. And so United Way for Greater Austin and Community Action merged in 2023 to become Help Me Grow Central Texas. And that gave us the ability now to serve 4 counties. So previously, United Way was hosting a Help Me Grow for Greater Austin affiliate, and then we've merged, and now we get to serve Travis, Williamson, Hayes, and Caldwell counties. And our focus is on families that have kiddos up until the age of 8. And so there's 4 main components in Help Me Grow, and I'm just going to give a little bit of quick information because we're really just going to spend time on one, but just to kind of give you an overall picture of Help Me Grow. The 4 main components are the centralized access point, which is basically a way to help families and professionals get connected to resources that are in the community, things that help them thrive, whether that be early intervention resources or even basic need resources. The next one is family and community outreach. And so this is where we are really trying to get information out there, build relationships, and just help to build a better understanding in the community of what healthy child development is, and then what services exist to help the families. And also making sure that people understand that these things are important in order to help children thrive as they go through life. The third one is our child health provider outreach. This one supports early detection and intervention efforts. And it really works to connect medical providers to the community resources and give them a familiarity of what resources exist and how they can refer their families or kiddos that they're working with to those resources. The last component is data collection and analysis, which is basically what it sounds like. It's just collecting data as much as we can and then using that to determine what's working, what's not, how can we continue to move the work forward, and what's being impactful in the communities. To give you a little bit of touching to kind of make it more sense of what the components are, Help Me Grow Central Texas, these are the things that we're utilizing within all of the components. You'll see in the family and community outreach that the coalition, the meeting you're attending today, is part of the family and community outreach component of Help Me Grow. We have other coalitions that are very similar in Austin, Travis County, and Williamson County. And we also are doing developmental screening events in all of the counties to really increase access to developmental screeners for families. The component I'm going to focus on with you today is a centralized access point. So my role in the Help Me Grow Central Texas affiliate is to oversee the centralized access point, or as you'll hear us refer to it as the CAP. And so basically what that is, the definition as Help Me Grow National defines it, is it's a way to assist families and professionals in connecting children to the grid of community resources that help them thrive. And so basically it's creating a specialized child development line or some way for parents to contact an early childhood expert, so to speak, when they need some help with resources. Maybe they're feeling a little iffy about their child development, or they don't really know where to go, or they need some food or diapers, transportation help, housing help. So somewhere for parents to go to get connected to these resources. The resources that are included should be well researched for the families to make sure that they are appropriate resources and that they will serve the family's needs in the way that they need to. And there also should be an early childhood resource directory that is maintained in real time so that the information is as accurate as possible. I'm sure most, if not all of you, are familiar with the issue sometimes that comes up of you find a program, you might refer a family to that program, and the information wasn't accurate, that program no longer exists, maybe there's a wait list, maybe it's only available during certain times of the year, but there wasn't that information available. So we try to make sure that all of the information is maintained in real time so that if you're contacting the centralized access point, you can feel confident that that information is accurate and you'll be able to send a successful referral to that resource. And then also a way to link services and follow up with callers and providers. So a way for providers, if they're referring to each other, how can they get follow-up? How can they know what's going on with their referral? How can families know what's going on with their referral? And then kind of in connection with that is the data collection and analysis, using internal dashboards to keep track of information, specifically early childhood referrals. And so now I'm going to give all of that information to kind of show you why we are doing this, and then now is kind of how we're doing this. So the way that what we use for our main centralized access point for Help Me Grow Central Texas is ConnectATX. And so just to give a little bit of background, if any of you are familiar with Find Help, they are a community resource online platform. And so ConnectATX is powered by Find Help. So if you've ever used Find Help, you'll see that ConnectATX looks very similar. And so we have a license from Find Help that allows us to utilize like their existing template of a resource platform and then curate that to our communities. And so as of right now, it is titled ConnectATX. And so I just wanted to share out that we are in the process of rebranding it to be ConnectCTX. So it would be more representative of Central Texas. And we are doing that because now we serve 4 counties as Help Me Grow, and we want it to feel inclusive to everybody because ConnectATX obviously sends that message that it's for Austin, and that's kind of how it started, but now we're ready to expand it and make it more representative of all of the counties that we serve. And so I'm sharing information today because as we get the rebranding in motion and start to expand on the resource database that we have, we're going to want to include organizations from the other 3 counties, Williamson, Hays, and Caldwell counties. And so you may already be listed on Find Help, which is fantastic. And we'd also like to have, a ConnectATX listing that we can work together and make sure that the information is as accurate as possible. So I'm going to share a little bit of information about what ConnectATX is, how it works, and then kind of how it could benefit an organization to at least be listed or use it in whatever functioning is the best for your organization. So what is ConnectATX? So ConnectATX, it's a community tool. Like I said, it's an online platform. My favorite thing I've heard about is kind of like a Google for community resources. You can look up programs and services such as food access, transportation support, healthcare, housing, medical care, childcare support. There's a whole bunch of different types of resources on there. And most of the resources or all of the resources that are listed on there are either free or at a reduced cost. And so that is a requirement to be listed, is those programs do have to be free or at a lower cost that is easily accessible to most individuals in the community. It also provides a community helpline, so folks can access ConnectATX online and via text. And so the text message service is a text message with a live person. There are ConnectATX navigators on the other end that receive your message and answer back during business hours. And they're able to text with individuals in a variety of languages. So we do have bilingual staff that are there to answer text messages, and then as well as access to a language line with over 200 languages. ConnectATX is also a closed loop referral system. And so what that means is that folks are able to go onto ConnectATX and send a referral directly through the platform to an agency or program that has chosen to receive referrals through the platform. And so when a referral is sent on ConnectATX, it is sent to the organization that is receiving the referral, excuse me, and that organization is then able to update the status of the referral right there in the platform and let the referrer know, we're still working on contacting the client, we weren't able to, or we've made contact and that client has gotten help. So there's a variety of different options that are able to be communicated back to the person making the referral to let them know what's going on with that. Because again, I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, know that very frequently we send referrals to an agency or program, and that referral may have, they may have contacted the person, that person may be getting their services, but we don't know that, and we don't have a way of following up with that. Or also there's sometimes where a referral is sent and nothing is done with it. And we don't know that either until maybe we reconnect with a client and get told that they never heard from that organization or service. So the ConnectATX platform allows there to be communication over how that referral is going and whether or not that person is getting the support they need. And then again, it's a network of organizations that can choose to use it in however way works best for that organization. You can choose to simply just have programs and services listed on ConnectATX for informational purposes. And it could be that you have them redirected to your own website for more information, or to fill out a referral form or a screener form. Or even maybe indicate the phone number for them to call or an email address for them to contact, all the way up to having organizations who can use the platform in similar to a case management system where they can receive referrals, send referrals, follow up on the referrals. There's ways to make profiles for the clients that you're helping, set goals for them. And so we have a variety of organizations who fill in any step between just being listed and then using every feature possible. And there's no obligation. If you choose to be listed, you're never obligated to use it more than that. It can change, as capacity changes within the organization. And let's say you want to just be listed and then you have better capacity. Maybe you have more staff that's able to help out with referrals. You can turn a referral tool on and receive referrals. If you're at capacity, you can turn that referral tool off and go back to just being listed. So it's a very flexible platform that gives a lot of options for organizations to use, and it's very easy to use also for folks in the community who may be looking for some support. Some of the online features, I've already covered a few of them, but just wanted to really showcase the fact that the most important thing, in my opinion, for it, especially for early childhood folks, is that just having the program listed on there. There's so many early childhood programs and services available to families that families don't really know how to find that information. I know when I was a parent with my first kiddo, I had no idea. I didn't know where to look. I didn't know what to do. And so just having the information listed on there and being able to keep it up to date, to me, is just super important, because then we can know that our families have access to updated information and then the support that they might be needing. There's also a way for organizations, if you choose to list your programs or even use it as a referral system, there's various data and analytics that you would get access to determine your program's impact on the community. So you can see the number of referrals, how are those referrals being followed up, and so forth. When you search on ConnectATX, and I know this is a lot of information, but once I get through all of this, I will show you so you can actively see what ConnectATX looks like. And I'll just walk you through some various pieces of it. But when you do search on ConnectATX, it is zip code based. And so you put the zip code in and it'll take you right into the platform and give you a bunch of options. There's several categories and even more subcategories to find within the ConnectATX program. And so there's a couple of different ways. So like anybody can go onto ConnectATX and search anonymously, or anybody can create a login and profile and search that way. So there's no cost to logging in and creating an account. You don't have to be part of an organization to create an account. You can do it. You can do a personal one. You can do a work one as well. So there's no requirements of who can or cannot create a profile and utilize ConnectATX. And there's also a really great language feature. So there's, like I said, 200 plus languages that you can choose from, and it translates the entire page. Just keep in mind, it is powered through Google Translate. So some of the translation might be a little off, but it does translate the pages to those languages. And then there's a way to filter options. So if you're looking for something very specific for a client, like if they need somewhere that, like food access, but they need to go to somewhere that's not going to ask for documentation. There's a way to filter out those results. If it's certain ages, there's all sorts of different filters, and I'll show you some of those as well. There's also a way to create lists, or folders, I should say. So let's say that you, if you're a case manager and you work with a variety of families and you find that you have your favorite or most commonly referred to programs for food, you can create a food folder, save those programs in there to easily access in the future, and create as many folders as you'd like to. So I'm going to show a little bit about ConnectATX and some different pieces. Did that change for everybody to the ConnectATX screen?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So this is ConnectATX. Again, you go to connectatx.org. Sorry, there you go. And please don't let the ATX deter you from looking into it and searching on it. Even though right now it's ConnectATX, you can still put really any zip code in there and it will still give access to resources from any zip code. It's just right now we are currently working with Austin Travis County organizations to create our resource database, and we're wanting to expand that. And so again, it will soon be rebranded and renamed to ConnectATX. So this is the main page. I'm going to scroll down to the bottom to just give a few points about the main page. Again, there's an area where you can translate it. On this particular page, there's only 6 languages to choose from. I'm not sure why there's only 6 on this page, but more on the other page. But there's an option for other ones to be translated into. And then if you come up, there is a way for you to chat with a team member. So they do have online chat. And then as well, if you want to text your zip code to 85511 and text with a navigator, you can do that. And then this area here on the right is where you can log in or sign up and create a new account. And then you see at the very top of the page is where you put the zip code. I'm going to just put a zip code in and do a search. Maybe there we go. And once you put your zip code in, you'll see this is the ConnectATX like main page, I guess you can say. Here at the top, you see there's several categories. And then if you hover over the category, a whole bunch of subcategories come down. And so each category has various subcategories. Specifically for our early childhood folks, we do have a parenting and family category with several subcategories under that. These were very carefully curated by the previous Help Me Grow manager. They're not as up to date right now. We are in the process of updating this specific category and subcategories to make sure it's still accurate and everything. But that is available for early childhood folks specifically. So I'm just going to show, like, let's say we're working with a family and they need access to a food pantry. So you can choose food pantry, and then it's going to ask you to verify that you are a human being. And now you will see your results. And so if I scroll down, you see these white boxes here with a whole bunch of words and information. So we call these white boxes program cards. So each program that your organization has and wants to be listed gets its own program card. So here is what the name of the program is. It says Food Pantry, and then underneath that, that's the organization. Underneath all that is just like brief information, some keywords and tags that let you know kind of some, it serves all ages, individuals, families. Sometimes you might see it say infants, parents of infants or teens or some other age tags. So we try to keep these tags as up to date as well, based off of whatever the program offers. And that way it makes it easier to search. The more info box will give more information about the program. And so you can fill out as much or as little of the information as possible. But we do ask that if it's listed, that you try to keep the information up to date. We do have this availability option where you can go in and you can change the availability of the program. So if there's a wait list, you can change to wait list. If it's been closed, you can change to closed. And then that way people can know whether or not this is an available service. And then there's also eligibility. So if you have a program or a service that has specific eligibility, you can have that listed as well. And so then just other basic information, including a map to the location, hours, website. So all sorts of information just included in a nice little package. I'm going to move over to this green button. These are buttons that as you start to use the platform, you get a little bit more familiar with. These are the buttons that will let you know how to get in contact with this particular program or service. So this button that says contact with the little thought bubble thing, when I click on it, it's going to actually bring down a referral form so that I can send a referral directly to this food pantry and on the behalf of either somebody I might be working with or for myself. And so it's just basic information, first and last name. You get to choose how to contact the person that you're referring. You can add a comment. So, you know, like I know one thing that we always try to be mindful when we're trying to connect families to services is we don't want them to have to tell their story over and over and over and over again, right? We want them to only say it as minimal as possible because we know it can be hard to share. So if you have some information that you'd like to share with the organization to kind of help that out so that the family doesn't have to start all over again, you can do that in the comment. We do require that there is consent obtained from the person you're sending the referral for to let them know that you are sending their contact information to an organization and that they are going to receive information from. So if I send a referral on behalf of a client, that client is also going to be notified that I sent that referral. So we always want to make sure we're getting consent and then you send the referral in. So it's a very simple referral form process. It gets sent directly to the organization and then they have their own workflow of receiving those referrals and following up on it. Other buttons maybe you see here on this one, as I scroll down the next steps, the best way to contact this program is to call them. And so again, as I mentioned earlier, there's a variety of ways that folks can be directed to the program. So whether that's a referral directly here through ConnectATX or calling or emailing another contact. I do want to show this save button. Let me log in because it works better when you're logged in. When you save, there we go. You see you can create a new folder. You can pick a folder to add it to, and then it saves. And then you can save it for future reference and not have to go through all the searching. I really like this feature because I know that when I used to do case management, I had my favorite organizations or services that I knew most of the families that I was working with would need to have access to. And so it's really helpful to just have a bunch saved in a folder. And you can save notes for yourself on it. So like you can rate the program and you can say, like, I really love this program. They respond all of the time. Or I love this program, but always contact Liz. And then you can just save a note for yourself. So that's a quick intro to just being what it looks like to be listed on ConnectATX and how to search on it. I'm trying to think, I want to make sure I covered. Oh, the filters. Let me show y'all the filters. You can change your zip code in this white box up here in the top left at any time. So if you're like, start working with another client, or like, oh, let's try this zip code instead, you can change that. Or you can search for like a keyword. Like if you need diapers, you can search for diapers and it'll list matches or tags for you to search. You can also search program-specific names. So if we wanted to do like early childhood intervention, and then any of the tags, and then any matches that come up. But additionally to that, the personal filters, you see there are a lot of different filters to choose from. You can choose various ages, citizenship requirements. You know, does the person need services specific for individuals with disabilities or limited mobility? So all sorts of different filters to choose from. One thing I will say to keep in mind is if you do choose a filter, let me show, let's do, let's do children 2 to 12 and filter search. You'll see at the top that you have your tag here. You'll want to remember to clear all those filters when you're searching because that filter will save. And then as you're searching, it's going to keep looking for programs that are specific for children to that age. And you might miss out if you're trying to find something not specific to that age group. So just a little tip of using the filters. And so again, I'm going to stop sharing if I can remember. There we go. Stop sharing. Okay, there we go. So I just wanted to see, does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, anything I can show again?
I have a question.
Sure.
I know you can't see us. It's Nina. So I know that, and just especially for this crowd here, you know, and I think I may have told you about this. There's a couple of years ago where we tried, there was a few people who tried to sort of, what was it, unite us, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. I know, yeah. So like we're, you know, having flashbacks literally, right? Of the challenges that we had with that, which were mainly related to technical assistance, right? Like everyone was very, I think, interested in having this streamlined, you know, program that we could refer to each other. The big piece that was missing was like, A, how do we do this? And then B, like, how do we stay on top of it? So if you could speak a little bit to what that looks like with soon to be ConnectATX.
Yeah, no, that's a great point, and I appreciate you asking that. So we have a team, our community resource and engagement team, who works with the organizations to provide, you know, help if the program, you know, if it's not working out so well, if you're trying to do something on it and you just can't do it, we're here to help support that. We take the ownership of like contacting the organization for updates. So it's not necessarily on y'all's shoulders to remember to keep it updated. We will reach out regularly to say, hey, it's time for an update. Are there any changes that need to be made? If there's something that needs to be done and we don't have the answers, we work very closely with Find Help. So there's a lot of support from United Way as well as from Find Help to make the platform work the best that it can to meet the needs of the organizations that are using it. We have come across, you know, a couple of things that have been asked for from other organizations in the community that, you know, hasn't been able to be done, unfortunately. But there is a lot of support around helping from even just getting started on it, you know, like help fill out the information to have it listed, to, oh, we want to receive referrals, but we're not really sure how to implement this into our workflow. Well, we are happy to sit down and work through figuring out a workflow for that. So there's a lot of different various support available specifically from our community resource and engagement team. I have two colleagues that focus specifically on early childhood programs, services, and organizations. And so I work really closely with the two of them to help provide trainings to organizations on how to use ConnectATX. Again, helping, you know, if there's any workflow that we can help support, if there's any, you know, things like that. So there's a lot of assistance available to organizations in a lot of different areas. And we approach it from a standpoint of just supporting. Like there's no obligation to ever become like a master of using the platform where you use all of the things. Like You get to choose to use it, what works best for your organization or program, and we support you however you need to be supported. Does that answer that question, Nina?
Yeah, I think so. Because and I'm loving that there's these different, like you were saying, these different levels of like, whatever your agency or program is able or wanting to commit to, that just from a listing all the way to using it really more integrated in your case management. So that's really awesome. I'll be quiet and open it up for any other questions.
No, you're fine. Are there any other questions that I can answer, or anything I can show somebody how to use, or what something looks like on the platform?
So, is it okay for the clients to access it directly? Since you said that it's, they don't have to belong to an organization to create a profile. If a
Yes.
client is, okay, that's wonderful. And is it easy to access it through the phone? Do they,
It is.
internet through the phone?
Verify.
I use it sometimes on my phone. So it depends on you as a user, right? Like if you don't mind the more condensed view of it, as many websites have like a phone view. So it has a phone view, but you can use it and access all of the features from your phone, and it looks just the same. So it's not an app, you would be accessing the web version of it, but it's the same as using it from a computer. So yeah, it's easily accessible on the phone as well.
Thank you.
And as you were asking that, Laura, we had somebody here. I know you guys can't see us today, but we had somebody here that said yes, because they were already using it on their phone, already looking it up. And I believe Remy had a question or comment.
Yeah, I was just curious, what is the like how many counties or zip codes are you covering? Are you still looking?
We cannot hear you.
Yeah, Nina, can you just repeat Remy's question? She might be a little too far from the mic.
Sure. Yeah. So Remy was asking basically what I know. These owls really disappointed us today. And she was just asking what did that service area look like? Is it for specific zip codes? I know you kind of touched on that, but if you can clarify.
Yeah. That's a really great question. So I'm going to kind of start big and work my way down small. So if you go to ConnectATX.org, you can enter any zip code from across the country in there and find resources on there. And it's able to access like that because Find Help is that way. Find Help, you can put in any zip code from across the country and have a list of resources returned to you in the results. So there's no specific zip code that you have to use or that can't be used. The one thing I will share is that while using Find Help, or maybe you've used another version of Find Help through somewhere else, they list the information. They do an amazing job. They've created a really great platform, but there's nobody working with the organizations directly or one-on-one, so to speak, to ensure that the information on the platform stays up to date. And so when ConnectATX was acquired by United Way a few years ago, they started kind of small with just a focus on Travis County and Austin. So the zip codes that fall within that area, we have been working to identify organizations that are listed or should be listed or want to be listed, working with them to get them set up and using it. And then again, creating a cadence with those organizations to make sure that the information is up to date. So while, and then it'll continue that way as we add in groups and organizations from Williamson, Hayes, and Caldwell counties. And so if your organization chooses to be listed, then the zip codes that are, associated with that county or whatever will still be directed to your page. It gets kind of confusing, but just to be sure that what our focus is we want to be able to have relationships with the organizations and support them and help keep their information updated. So any zip code is accessible, but our work is focused on making sure that within our service area, it's a little bit more personalized relationships and up-to-date information.
So how, if, for people who might be interested in making sure that their listings are there and updated, or any way, or that want to have more integrated systems, how do they do that?
Yeah, so if you are interested in it, feel free to reach out to me directly. We can sit down and meet and kind of go through kind of what you're wanting or needing or interested in, or if you just want more information. And then, based on your organization and the way you want to list it, I'll also introduce you to Leslie and her team that will help with the updating piece. So you can contact me. I'll put my email in the chat. Just reach out to me and I'm happy to sit down and have a chat and then figure out how we want to move forward with either getting you listed or figuring out if you even want to be listed on there.
Awesome. Any other questions for Liz before we move on? Awesome. Thank you so much, Liz. And it's funny because I've been looking at this project for a long time, but definitely learned some things today. So,
good. And it was just a quick overview in a nutshell, just to give information again, because as we're looking to expand y'all's participation in the coalition, we really want to make sure you're included. And then if there's other organizations that you work with that you think it could be beneficial to them too, because we're really working to expand and make sure that we are providing the best support and resources to all of the counties that we serve. So please feel free to email me. I put my email in the Zoom chat. Nina, you're welcome to share out the email, and you can share out the slides too, so that folks can have them for themselves. And it has my contact information on the slides as well. So thank you, everybody. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much, Liz. We appreciate you very much. Round of applause. Ah. Oh, they actually applauded. Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and share, and I'll be sure to share that information in the follow-up email as well. Here we go. I'm going to scooch this over, and I'm working with 2 screens today, so always just everything. All right. Are you guys seeing everything online? You guys are good? Okay, so thank you so much, Liz. I'm gonna scooch through this stuff a little quickly because I want to be sure that we have time to check in with everyone else for any upcoming events or community messages or cries for help or whatever you got going on. So some of the upcoming events that we are working on in the next couple of months. For Start Smart, so here in February on the 20th, we are having the first steering committee of the year, and we've got a couple of extra people on our steering committee this year. Deanna Brock from Any Baby Can has joined us, and also Deanna Brock from San Marcos Independent School District Early Childhood Education Services, Special Education Services, and then Kira Simon from Any Baby Can has joined our steering committee. Sorry, I got them backwards. We have 2 Deannas on our steering committee now. So excited about having that. And if you're interested in the steering committee, please reach out to me. Also on the 22nd, we're having our car seat distribution in Lockhart. This is open to the community, and so we will be having that at Clear Fork Elementary. Let me know if you guys need more info on that. It's getting pretty full already. In March, we will have another steering committee meeting. And then in April, it's going to be a very busy month. So we'll have our next coalition meeting, April 9th. And then on the 12th, we will be joining Southside Community Center's Spring Fling and be doing a Books, Blocks, and Balls event there, where we'll be doing developmental screening for families there. Right now, we're really working on creating a better relationship with Southside so that we can really serve the families in their rapid rehousing program. And so those families are intended to be there. So Jessica Kane, who I reached out to, she doesn't work on Wednesdays, so she's not here. But if you guys are interested in also joining the Spring Fling, let me know and I can get you guys connected. And then also on the 26th, on April 26th, we will be having, yes, I will definitely email all this stuff out. Thank you for asking. So no worries on that. You don't need to take extensive notes. I always try to make sure it's a good follow-up email. And then on the 26th, we'll be having Baby Day. And for those of you who were with us last year, you remember that Baby Day is an event that's focused on relationship building and bonding between caregivers and children aged 0 to 3. So it's really specific to that 0 to 3 infant and toddler population, which it makes it a lovely event, lots of sitting on the floor and doing fun things. And this year we are helping to facilitate 2 events. We will have one here in Hayes at the San Marcos Library, and then another one in Caldwell at the Lockhart Library. So we'll be sending out more information on that. And so if you guys want to partner or to be in attendance at either of those, I'll be sending out more information on how you can do that. And then I also included here our calendar for the year for our free professional development series. This professional development is targeted to early childhood educators. We want to make sure that educators are feeling supported in our communities. They've got real difficult work, and we want to make sure that we're trying to make some things as easy as we can for them. So we have a free professional development opportunity every 3rd Saturday of the month. They are all virtual from 10 to 11:30. And the first 25 people who register and also attend get a $25 Visa gift card that we mail to them. This is our attempt to try to meet some of that need, that gap with a lot of educators having unpaid training hours. So that's one of the small things that we can do. And all this information too can be found on our website along with registration information, and that's startsmarthayescaldwell.org. And then also,
I'm so sorry. I had a quick question on the provider training or early educator training. Is that only restricted to providers in Hayes and Caldwell County, or does that expand a little further?
no, it is not. I'm glad you asked that. So we've gone back and forth on it, but we've officially made this a Help Me Grow initiative. So we are serving all 4 counties. So Austin, Travis County, Williamson County, Hayes, and Caldwell. So it's open to anybody really, but if they want to be eligible for the Visa gift card, they have to be in one of those 4 counties. And also, I also want to include that all of our trainers are TechPed certified, so they will be receiving TechPed certificates for the time that they spend with us. And
That's
then
amazing. Thank you.
Nina, I'd also just chime in to add, if you are in fact a TechPed certified trainer,
Yes.
we're always looking for trainers for all sorts of different things, and we'd love to include you in our portfolio of folks to contact.
Yes, absolutely. Always building that up. Thank you, Megan. And this is an opportunity that I really want to just take a moment on. So like I said, we're working on building up our relationship with Southside Community Center. For those of you who are not sure, Southside is one of the few agencies in our area that their work is focused on homelessness or people and families who are at risk of homelessness. They have a variety of programs, and one of their programs is also their rapid rehousing program. As part of this, it's a housing first program. So they bring families in, They have a transitional housing unit that is with a shared common space here that I'm showing you here in this photo. And then they try to get these families rehoused as quickly as possible. And then they provide case management for up to a year to make sure that these families are getting access to all the services they need so they can stay housed and really, get back on their feet. So something that we have noticed, if you look at this photo, there's lots of families coming in here and it's not very child friendly. And when we think about kiddos, coming into this space, they're already going through a lot of transitions, and having things that are friendly for them, having things that might be comforting for them can really make a difference to their experience in this uncertain time in their lives where they have very little choice or input over how things go. So we're working with them to provide a Start Smart toy box. And we have dedicated about $500 to try to make sure that we can get them a toy box and start to, fill in some of these gaps with toys for infants and toddlers, books, parenting resources, things like that are just going to make the space a little bit more inviting for these families and children. And the goal really is to continue to revisit this space every 6 months or so to make sure that, things go missing, right? Books go missing. We want books to go missing. We want children to take books with them. Sometimes things just get into disarray. So we do consider this sort of a sponsorship from the coalition that we want to continue to help provide this friendly space. And so really just wanted to reach out to all of you to, see if there's any room for you guys or any capacity that you might have to be able to add to this Start Smart toy box to really make this a true collaborative coalition effort. So I know a lot of our agencies serve different age ranges, right? For the coalition, we're really focused on 0 to 5, but your agencies may serve up to teenage years or what have you. I really kind of put some stuff out here that would be appropriate for ages 0 to 10 or things that would be multi-age appropriate. So just wanted to put that seed out there and, go and if you are able to, right, and see what it is that you guys might be able to contribute to this. And whether that be in-kind stuff, say you have things lying around already that aren't getting used, or, you have room in your budget to purchase things, all the way to just sort of adding to the collective pot, and then we will go ahead and do the purchasing as well. So yeah, but just wanted to throw that out there. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions about? Yes, ma'am.
Is it just one room? I mean, how many rooms do they have? How many living?
This is the only living space. So the living space is a communal living area, from what I understand, and then they have different rooms that the families stay in. And the families, they said they stay there maybe a month to 3 months max because they really are trying to get them into housing very quickly. So there's pretty quick turnover with the families that stay in this transitional space. Yeah, thank you for asking. Are there any other thoughts or questions about this? Awesome.
Nina, I just had one thought that you and I haven't spoken about. I wonder if, do they have shelving or storage already at Southside for these items? And if not, that's something we might kind of add to our wish list / shopping list. Maybe
Yes.
some like cubbies, kind of cubby style boxes that can be slid on and off shelves, things like that to organize.
Absolutely. Yes, that's we were thinking a toy box, cubby or cubbies, or, something like that. I asked about bookshelf space because we want to be able, books are so important. And she said that she feels like they do have some bookshelves already. But I can check in with that. And I think what we are going to do is Gabby has been working on putting together a wish list through Amazon that might make things easier for you guys just to be able to purchase and have it sent or what have you. So I'll be sure to send that out in the follow-up email. So I want to make that as easy as possible for us. Patricia, did you have a?
Well, I was just like, is there a timeline when?
That is a good question. So Patricia was asking about a timeline. I hadn't thought about a timeline specifically, but I think that we're hoping to start providing this space within the next month to 2 months. But once again, just a reminder that we're going to continue to revisit this. We're working with them to do more developmental screenings with these families in particular. So don't feel like you have to squeeze things in right away. There's always, this is going to be a continuous project, continuous need. Okay. And then here's some information on Baby Day. Like I said, we're having two, one at San Marcos Public Library, one at Lockhart. Also in our follow-up email, I will be sure to send the link to the partner registration page. If you guys are interested in attending one of these events, or if you even have any questions, you can definitely reach out to me. But it's a very cool event. We will provide the activity that you will do with the families because we want to make sure that the activities are specifically for ages 0 to 3, right? So bubbles, blocks, sitting on the floor, doing games, things like that. This is also a way for you guys to connect with these families and share some information about your resources. So it's a really fun event and we're super duper looking forward to it.
I will say that we went last year and it was really warm and fuzzy feeling, like watching all of the parents on the floor with their kids. It really was like what we do this for. So
yeah, I know it's having this and then watching. I don't know if you guys heard Gabriella was saying that she last year it was all warm and fuzzies and just, you know, being able to see the families interacting with their littles in this really intentional way. It is very nice. And we even had baby yoga last year. So I'm hoping that we can do that again this year because it was adorable. Awesome. So yay, I made it. I was like 12:50. I want to leave 10 minutes for community announcements. And I did that. So yay. So yeah, this is, I would love to hear from everybody. What's going on with y'all's programs? What's coming up? What can we look forward to? Oh yeah, actually, and I did not put this information in here, but I can send that link out today. We are partnered with Dell Kids and Cars again. And on this Friday at the San Marcos Public Library, we're having a booster seat distribution. So this one is specific to booster seats. This is for children ages 4 and up. And they will attend a short presentation on booster seat safety, and installation, which will probably take about 15-20 minutes, depending on if we need multiple languages or not, and sort of people have questions. And then after that, they'll be able to walk away with a really nice booster seat for every kiddo in their family that needs one. So this is completely free, open to the community. It starts at 10 a.m. On Friday at the San Marcos Public Library. Pre-registration is not required. They can definitely walk in, but if they pre-register, it just gives us a better idea about how many booster seats Kids and Cars needs to bring, because they bring them all the way from Austin. So I'll be sure to send that information as well. Thank you for that reminder. Okay, now for real, I'll open it up to everybody else.
So solutions, we don't have any community events that are going. We do have trainings that we offer on a monthly basis for our contracted providers, but unfortunately due to our funding, we have to limit it to just those providers. We are on a waiting list. We have about 2,800 kids on our waiting list right now due to funding restraints. The state launched a new system and we've got a lot of frustrated parents and providers, and so the state is working on getting all of that fixed. But we are still on a waiting list, so it's really just first come, first serve. If anybody needs specific data for the county or for a specific location, let me know and I can kind of gather that together. But yeah, just normal business as usual, I guess.
Yeah. Thank you. Anybody online that would like to share stuff happening in their agencies? All right.
Just going back to the things that I was talking about, the barriers, some of the things that we are doing is, we have something called the Central State website. It is a website serving 7 counties up and down the 35 corridor from Round Rock all the way down to San Antonio. They have a list of all the resources in it. And so we want to make sure, especially if really important during the time. We want to make sure that we're getting that out to the public. So any events that you have, that you feel that might be a good place for here, somebody from our staff to go to, they kind of like about it. It's free for everyone to come take a look at. Let me know, send me email NB78 at Texas at TXA. Sorry. Let me know about that. We have the virtual learning network series. We have one of those starting next Tuesday from 12 to 1, maybe 1:30ish, depending on where the conversation goes. And again, it's about churches and their response to mental health services. So we got some monthly, but Pastor Todd is going to be at this series. I believe Pastor Abundant Life Christian Church.
Okay.
So,
So
I'll send it to you.
yeah, so Megan was saying they're having a little trouble hearing. Sorry for the technical stuff today, guys. But I will stop sharing here too as well so that you guys can see. But I put Marsha's information, MB78 at texasstate.edu. Is that right? And so there's a website with a lot of community specific information for 7 communities you were saying, or zip codes?
7 communities, Williamson, Travis,
Oh, wow.
Hayes, Caldwell, Bastrop, who am I missing there? Oh, goodness, Comal, and another, it's blanking me now.
Okay. Yeah, so data collection type, yeah. So, but I put her information in the chat, and then if you want to send me that stuff, and then I can include it in the follow-up email as well. And we've got just about 5 minutes left. And I'm happy to, give you guys back that 5 minutes unless you have other thoughts or community announcements that you would like to share. Ooh. Awesome, guys. Well, let's see here. Yep, that's not even working. Well, I want to thank everybody so much. For those of you who joined us virtually, if you hadn't had a chance yet, be sure you put your name and the agency you work for in the chat so that we know you were here. Otherwise, thank you guys so much for joining us today for our first 2025 coalition meeting. And thank y'all so much. Have a wonderful afternoon and rest of your week. Stay warm, guys.
Thank you.